was nearly midnight in Ortega's. The office lights of Ortega's center were slowly turning off one by one, leaving the towering buildings looking like giant shadows against the cloudy sky. The streets that were once full of cars, office workers, and noise were now almost empty. Only the soft hum of distant traffic and the quiet drizzle of rain remained. Maya stepped out of her office building and sighed. She checked her phone 3 minutes before midnight. Great, she muttered. She had stayed too late finishing reports, and now the regular buses were long gone. Calling a ride would cost too much, and she still had a long trip home. The rain started falling harder. Cold wind brushed against her face as she waited under the dim yellow light of the bus stop. Minutes passed. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. The empty road stretched in both directions. The quiet and emptiness feels eerie. No buses. No taxis. Nothing. Maya hugged her bag closer to her chest and wondered if she should just go back to the office and sleep there. Then, through the curtain of rain, she saw headlights approaching. Slow, dim, an old bus rolled toward the stop. At first, Maya felt relief, but the closer the bus came, the more uneasy she felt. The vehicle looked very old. The paint was faded and chipped away in places, exposing rust underneath. The front route sign flickered weakly, the letters barely readable. She squinted. It looked like it said Tai Tai. The bus hissed to a stop in front of her. The doors creaked open. Inside sat an old driver wearing a faded cap. His eyes looked tired. Tai Tai? Maya asked cautiously. The driver nodded. Last trip, the rain poured harder. Maya hesitated for a moment. Then she stepped inside. The moment she entered the bus, the temperature dropped. A cold, strange feeling crawled up her spine. The lights inside the bus flickered faintly, casting long shadows along the narrow aisle. The air smelled strange, like wet soil smoke, and something metallic, something that made Maya feel uneasy. She slowly walked down the aisle. There were already passengers seated inside, but none of them spoke. None of them used their phones. None of them even moved. A huge man sat in the back, hunched over as if the ceiling was too low for him. Smoke drifted lazily from his mouth. Near the middle seat, a woman with long black hair covering her face rocked gently back and forth. Across the aisle sat a thin man whose neck seemed unusually long, and near the window something that looked like a child, but its head was turned completely backwards. Maya quickly looked away. A strange uneasiness settled in her chest. She chose a seat 2 rows behind the driver. The doors closed with a metallic clang. The engine rumbled, and the bus began to move. The rain continued tapping softly against the windows as the bus drove through the quiet streets, leaving Ortega's. For several minutes, no one spoke. No one moved. Only the rumbling engine and the rain filled the silence. Then, suddenly, Maya felt something gently tug on her sleeve. She looked down. A little girl stood beside her seat. Maya gasped. The child looked horrifying. Her dress was torn and soaked with blood. Bruises covered her arms and legs. One of her arms had no skin left, only white bone showing through, and her left eye was missing. Blood slowly ran down her cheek from the empty socket. The girl leaned closer. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Please pretend you're my mom." Maya's heart pounded violently in her chest. Fear told her to move away, to run, but the girl slowly raised her skeletal hand toward her. It trembled. She looked terrified, helpless. Maya swallowed. Then, slowly, she took the child's hand. "It's okay," Maya whispered. "You can sit here." The girl quickly climbed into the seat beside her and held her arm tightly. And at that exact moment, every passenger on the bus noticed them. The giant man in the back slowly stood. He was enormous. As he rose, his head nearly touched the ceiling of the bus. His skin looked rough and dark like tree bark, and smoke curled from his mouth. A Capri, he stepped into the aisle, towering over the seats. "A child," he rumbled. The little girl clung tightly to Maya. The Capri leaned closer, yellow eyes glowing in the dim light. "That soul does not belong to you." Maya tightened her grip on the girl's hand. "Tonight she does." The bus grew silent. The Capri stared at Maya for several seconds. Then slowly he laughed. A deep rumbling sound. Brave human. At the next stop, the giant creature stepped off the bus and vanished into the trees. But the ride had only just begun. Suddenly, tap, tap, tap. Something scratched at the window. Maya slowly turned. Outside, the glass floated a pale woman, but her body ended at the waist. Her intestines dangled beneath her as she flew beside the moving bus. "Ama na nang gal." Her long tongue slid through the small opening in the window. Such a sweet soul. Maya slammed the window shut. "Leave her alone," the creature hissed. But when she saw Maya holding the child, she recoiled in frustration, as if some invisible rule prevented her from touching the girl. With an angry shriek, she flew away into the night. But the horrors kept coming. Something small crawled out from beneath the seats. It giggled like a baby, then suddenly lunged toward the girl's arm. A Chanak. Maya shoved it away with her bag. Hard. No, the creature bounced and hit the window, screeched, and retreated into the shadows. More creatures revealed themselves. An old woman slowly opened her mouth, far wider than any human could, and a swung. A tall shadow figure rose near the aisle. Its legs were long like a horse, a tikba lang. One by one they approached, but every time they came close, they stopped, because Maya was alive. And on this bus, the living protected the lost. Hours seemed to pass. The creatures eventually gave up. One by one, they got off the bus and disappeared into the darkness. Finally, the little girl giggled. "We're almost home, Mom," bus slowed, the lights flickered, and suddenly everything went black. "Ma'am," a voice echoed faintly. "Ma'am, wake up." Maya opened her eyes. The bus driver stood beside her. "We're at the terminal." The bus was empty. The strange passengers were gone. The air felt normal again. Maya stepped off the bus, and there stood the little girl. But now she looked whole. Clean dress, bright eyes, peaceful, she smiled. "Thank you for helping me," Maya whispered. "What happened?" The girl looked at the bus. "They wouldn't let me leave. The driver helps lost souls ride this bus, but he can't protect us." She squeezed Maya's hand gently. "But you could." Her smile softened. "Thank you, Mom." Her body slowly turned into warm golden light, and then she disappeared. The driver stepped down from the bus. He nodded respectfully. "You helped someone cross tonight." Then he closed the bus doors. The old bus roared back to life and drove away into the dark road, as if it had another trip to make. And somewhere, on a lonely highway late at night, that bus is still driving, carrying creatures of the night, waiting for another lost child, and someone brave enough to pretend to be their mother. And remember, if you ever see an old bus near midnight, make sure you check who else is riding inside.